You're listening to Field Day with Katie Black.
Yes. Okay, you guys. Welcome to Field Day with Katie Black. I have a very special guest. Do you want to go ahead? I think it's powerful when the guest introduces himself. Do you want to introduce yourself?
Hey, I'm Tony Horne, All-Pro Super Bowl champ, former team St. Louis Rams and the Kansas City Chiefs, Clemson Tigers.
Woo! My parents met in grad school at Clemson. Fun
Wow,
fact.
we family.
That's right. That's right. So I always ask people this. Tell everybody where you were born / where you grew up.
I was born in New York, but I grew up in Rockingham, North Carolina, um, right outside of Charlotte. So a lot of people knew it was the home of the Motor Speedway back then. So Rockingham, North Carolina.
Very cool. And so how did your family move from up north down to NC?
I mean, we did it like I was probably like 10 at the time or whatever. But most of that's where we originally originated from down south. So we probably was best for us to go back, back to North Carolina.
No, I hear that. I'm I'm born and raised here as well. So well, first off, I ask people this no matter what their occupation is, but especially with athletes, at what point in your youth were you like, I'm really good at football?
I mean, well, to be honest, my mother didn't let me play football until I was like in the seventh grade. I was actually a great soccer player, so I played soccer for 10 years. But always knew I wanted to play football. I knew I was good at football like when I was small, just playing in the backyard. And so I always knew I was good, but my mother just wouldn't let me play.
And was she just concerned that it was just too violent?
I was real small, so she was like, "You too small, you too little." So I didn't get to play like pee wee or travel football like a lot of kids grew, when they grow, when they
Yeah.
started playing at an early age. So I played soccer instead, but that's my favorite sport. I love soccer.
How fascinating you are. Like I said, I mean, by the way, if you guys are listening, this is obviously, I'm a few episodes into my new show, Field Day, but you are actually the third athlete that I have talked to where you can play two different sports. I feel like that's amazing.
I mean, I played every sport. Like I was good at baseball. I was good at basketball. Like I was good at track. I was just an athlete. Period.
A God-given talent, especially when it sounds like you can kind of do it all.
Right, right. But I think like if soccer was big back then, I think I probably would have played soccer and everything. That's like I said, that's my favorite sport. And out of 10 years, I lost like one game in 10 years.
Oh my goodness. So, I love that, and it's fascinating and amazing at the same time. So, 18 different directions we can go per usual, which I always say. But okay, so with you, at what point did you transition from soccer to football? Was it when you were allowed to play in the seventh grade?
Yes, but I didn't stop playing. I
Mhm.
continued to play football. I played soccer up until the ninth grade upon entering high school. But like, I played soccer even when I played football in the seventh grade. So, I continued to play.
Oh my goodness. And another weird question that I have that might not be weird is, so since you're just, an all-around athlete, um, at some point anyone, whether it's, in high school or obviously when you get to Clemson, does anyone kind of talk to you about your diet?
Man, listen, like I didn't even know what a diet was. I mean, like I was real, I was small. So when I went to Clemson, I was like 158. So I was like super small. Like,
Hmm.
so once I got to Clemson, we started eating 3 meals a day. But it really wasn't like, a diet plan because I mean they catered to us what they wanted us to eat. So it wasn't like we had, big choices or whatever. So I I really didn't get into like a diet plan or nutrition plan until I got to the NFL.
Interesting. I'm a fixture of culture and the way people eat and interact and socialize. So that is a question that I'm just fascinated by. So
So growing up, my grandmother, we had gardens back in the day, so I did eat like a lot of vegetables and fruits or whatever. So I did. I guess you can say I ate healthy, not even knowing.
what a gift, right?
Right, right.
You start to obviously get into football, and then at what point do you realize, like, is it, for those that don't know, do you apply to Clemson? Do they reach out to you? How does Clemson come into your life?
Well, I always wanted to go to Clemson, even when I was a little kid. When I was like 10 years old, on Saturdays I would see the guys rub the rock and run down the hill. So I always told everybody, I'm going to Clemson. I'm going to Clemson. So I always knew I wanted to go to Clemson. But I actually got a scholarship in track for the hurdles at Clemson. So I was a state champion in the hurdles. So actually, even though Clemson was recruiting me, I actually got a scholarship in track. And so Clemson football team, they matched the scholarship because, like, I think for track, it was only like a 2-year scholarship. And so the football stepped in and gave me a full ride. So basically, I went to Clemson like on a 2 scholarship deal.
Oh my goodness, how amazing. So while you were at Clemson, or just even college in general, what was that experience like for you?
I mean, it was different because I had a rough background. I had a rough, like, I, I had a rough. I don't know. I was one of them kids that was always into something. So Clemson was different for me because it was just different because, like, I don't know. I mean, it was like culturally it was different. Racial wise, it was different. It was just a different experience, being away from home, being on your own, and basically have to provide for yourself. But like once you're on scholarship, then there's really no help or nothing like that. You really got to live on your own, basically.
Did you I guess essentially were you homesick at all?
Uh, Most definitely not.
You're like, no.
I was homesick because like Atlanta was like an hour and a half down the street, so it was like I was a grown man, but I wasn't a grown man, and I met great people. I met great group of guys, and I loved the experience. I didn't really want to go back home at all.
That's awesome to hear. So, from my research, and correct me if I'm wrong, while you were there, was the coach Tommy West?
Yes, Tommy West, I love that dude. Good man.
Very cool. What was it again like? And again, this can go into obviously, which we'll get into in a second, like the NFL. So, for those that, are not athletic or have not reached to that, success level, what is it like being on a field when everyone is watching you and there's cameras there and all of that?
I mean, to me, I didn't think nothing of it, but to me, football was like my rest haven. Like that's where I felt like I could be me. So for me, football, I didn't even look at it as entertaining or the fans or how many people was watching. I just looked at it as a rest haven. I felt safe. I could let it all out and I could just have fun.
That's awesome. Well, and I guess as you should, right? Like you're supposed to just kind of focus and block out everything else, right?
Much, yeah. I mean, that was just me. I don't really care about pressure, so it was normal for me.
That's amazing. Did you, before we get into NFL, as far as the college goes, did you suffer any kind of crazy injuries?
I didn't, but I ended up having a broke bone in my neck that I never knew about. So I mean, I don't know if it came from college or what. So I didn't suffer like ACL or a injury that put me out for a certain amount of time. So
Oh
nah,
my
I made
goodness.
it.
what do you like? How long is there any estimated guess how long your neck was, messed up before you realized, or no idea?
I had no idea, to be honest. I had no idea.
Is that just because, no one is like, hey, we need to, obviously you're not going to go get an x-ray of your neck because you felt like
Right.
nothing
I mean,
was going on?
right. I mean, I guess if you're not complaining about it and if you don't feel like anything is wrong, then you know, it's not every day you just go and okay, we're gonna take an MRI or a CAT scan of your neck. So if you didn't complain about it, then
I
you know.
dig. Now, last question before we get into NFL. At the college level, is there a lot of shit talking? You know what I mean, from the opposing team?
I was a talker. Right.
So you
I
were
was
the
a
shit
talker.
talker, huh?
I mean, it really wasn't a shit talk. It was just like, I mean, I just talked a lot. I would be hyped, so I just talked a lot, and I was like a bully on the field. So I don't know.
I feel you.
I don't think it was like disrespectful talk. It was just more like, okay, you better step the game up. I'm coming, or competitive, something like that.
Absolutely. So obviously at what point you leave Clemson and then do you directly go with the Rams, or what was that transition like?
Yeah, I got well, I thought I was supposed to get drafted, but things didn't work out that favorable. So I signed as a free agent with the Rams, and that was it. Like they called me right after the draft and said they wanted to fly me in and bring me in. So I went to St. Louis and I signed the deal.
And what was that, in a nutshell, what was that experience like?
It was crazy because like I remember reading Sports Illustrated. So they had the Rams coaching staff in Sports Illustrated. And I'm talking about the coach was like 70, 80 years old, like older than the normal coaching staff, you know. So I'm like, man, please God don't let me go to this team. I hope I don't go to this team with all these old coaches. And that's where I ended up at. So that was like that was crazy. That was the experience itself. But I love St. Louis. St. Louis was a great city.
I've never been. What is it like?
Man, it's dangerous. Put it like that. Now it's
Mhm.
very dangerous. But I mean, I loved it because the fans was great. Best fans in the world. They supported us when we was winning, we was losing. I mean, it was a lot to do in St. Louis. Other than being dangerous, it was a fun city. Like they say, New York city that doesn't sleep. St. Louis don't sleep. St. Louis like yeah, St. Louis something to do every day. And they had some good food restaurants out there, so that was a big part of it also.
How interesting. I love that. I'll have to definitely, it's on my bucket list to go one day. Playing, at Clemson, and then you're playing same sport but in an NFL umbrella. Is there any difference?
Oh, most definitely. Like the game is faster. Everybody's like, I'm not really gonna say bigger because there was some big kids in college, but like the game is definitely faster and like the plays is different. Like the playbook, studying the playbook, like muscle memory, like just the plays. Because you would in training camp, man, you probably would put in like 50 to 60 plays a day, and so and it's not going backwards. I mean, there's different plays you put in every day, so you got to remember all of these plays. So that it was a big difference, like playbook wise and just focus wise. Like you had to study more. You know what I'm saying with the NFL and college, it was like you get it. Once you get it, you got it. And like I tell people, like NFL is like 90% mental and 10% physical. Like you study more than anything. Like if we have to be to work at like 7:30, 8 o'clock, we're in the classroom for like 6 to 7 hours, and you probably on the practice field for the most 2 hours. So basically, it's like studying the playbook, going over plays, and watching film. So it's definitely more mental.
Yeah. I'm just trying to I'm just marinating on it. So did what were again going back to was it the same experience as far as like what you said about being on the Clemson field where you just kind of you don't pay any mind to the background noise, the fact that it's being filmed, you're just completely zeroed in?
Yeah, I mean, you just the same thing, but like college had more fans than NFL, so that that was different. But NFL, I mean, you like you at the top of the food chain right now. Like, you know, it's, it's not different, but it's different. You
I
know,
understand.
right?
Now, before just specifically focused on St. Louis, was there any injuries there that, made a lasting impression essentially?
Yeah, I had split my sesame bone in half. It's like called turf toe. It's the injury that ended Deion Sanders' career, and it's the injury that ended Shaquille O'Neal career, and it's called a sesame bone. Actually, that's what it's called, a sesame bone. And most people in life have one sesame bone, and
Mm.
for some reason I had two. So mine split in half, like on a Monday
Oh.
night playing Washington Redskins.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, and I was in a cast for like 6 months. I had to learn how to run and all of that over again. So that was an injury that kind of derailed my career, to be honest.
And I'm just, oh my goodness. So, and obviously, was it, I hear with injury sometime, did you hear it before you felt it, or was it the opposite?
Oh yeah, it was definitely. We was playing on a Monday night game. We was playing on a Monday night, and I was returning the kickoff return. So the kickoff turn before I fumbled the ball. So the next one after they scored like a field goal, I went back on the field and I got another kickoff return, and we was playing on turf. So once I
Mm.
caught the ball and took off, I heard it pop. So it popped, but my momentum was so high. I ran to like the 60-yard line, and I couldn't move anymore. I just fell out. So yeah, I heard it before when it happened.
Do you feel like what, give or take, what year was that?
That was it was after we won the Super Bowl, so it was like 2001, 2001. Yeah,
Oh my goodness.
yeah, I'm an old man.
Oh no, no, no. Well, not to obviously before, I love to dissect everything, but I don't know if this can be real quick, but like obviously, what was it like going to the Super Bowl? Like the ultimate game?
And again, that was my childhood dream. Like I always told people, I'm going to the Super Bowl. I'm gonna win a Super Bowl. But man, that was the greatest feeling in the world. Cause that's why you play the game, you get a Super Bowl ring. But not only did I go to the Super Bowl, I was the Super Bowl captain. So I got a chance to go out on, the field for the coin toss. And man, like how many guys can say they were Super Bowl captain? So, that was now there, like now that was nervousness. Like that was the only game I was nervous because you got like the entire world is watching the Super Bowl. So you got media from Japan, Mexico. I'm talking about media from all over the world. So
Right.
that's the biggest stage ever. Like Super Bowl, like that's the biggest stage ever. So that was a different feeling. That was different.
That's amazing. Well, congrats. Congrats on all your success. But obviously, you being a star at Clemson, or it sounds like obviously even before that, and then obviously you're an NFL star. How do you gauge the crowd around you? Whether they're good people, maybe not good people. Did you have any experiences with that kind of stuff?
I mean, most definitely. I mean, college, like, I mean, you gonna get wherever you go. Everybody's not gonna be nice,
Hmm.
especially the opponents. And if they're gonna sometime to get person in your personal life. But I mean, I blocked it out. I mean, I could take anything, so they really didn't matter. But I mean, it's people are different, and people really gonna express what they feel and what they want to say. So yeah, I mean, you get it, the good, the bad, the ugly, but you just, I guess, have to be a professional and keep it moving.
No, totally. Did you and again, this you might have not experienced this, but do you have like family members or quote unquote friends start asking you for dough and things like that?
Oh, man, of course, like it was like every once you go to the NFL, everybody feel like they're entitled, or you know, people try to take advantage of your kindness and your weakness.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, it's up to you. It's up to you. I mean, you always can say no, but unfortunately, I was one of those guys that couldn't say no. But I mean, you definitely get, yeah, it's you get targeted. Put it like that.
Mm-hmm. And so did you ever at some point did you ever learn to say no? You know what I mean?
Yeah, after the fact.
Ha! After it was over?
Yeah, but with me, like you would have to ask me more than one time. It was like I would do it, but you got to remind me because like I wasn't that type of person. Like, okay, you ask, I need this right now. You better ask me again, because if you don't, I forget. So you know, other than my moms and my kids, then everything else was secondary.
No, I understand. I understand. Okay, so you're if my research is correct, you were 3 years St. Louis, right? Ram,
Right.
right? And then I read where in 2001 you signed as a free agent with Kansas City Chiefs, but
Whatever.
suffered a knee injury during preseason. Is that correct?
Nah, that's okay. Like when I was in St. Louis, I had messed up my sesame. That's when I split my sesame bone in half.
Okay.
But they didn't fix the problem correctly.
Mm.
Like I had surgery from the beginning, but they just put me in a boot. And so I tried to come back too fast, and I thought I was healed, but when I got to Kansas City, it was just like I was never the same. So you know that it wasn't a good thing. Like I was overcompensating, and my foot was still hurting, and my knee was getting to hurt. So it was like I wasn't really healthy in Kansas City.
No, I feel you. So are you saying that was it the surgery that they did a botched surgery, or was it just specifically you never had the time frame to recover correctly?
They didn't address the situation. Like
Mm.
I didn't have surgery until after I left Kansas City. That's when I had surgery to fix the problem. But like after it happened, they just put me like in a walking boot, and they said it would heal on itself or whatever. So I should have had the surgery from the beginning.
I feel you. Well, I know that was heartbreaking for you.
I mean, it was, but I mean, it was like I adjusted. Like
Mm.
I wasn't one of those guys like was gonna cry and be all depressed about it and be like it's the end of the world.
Hmm.
I had I had established that from the beginning. Like you know, NFL means not for long. So you know, it was easy. I'm not gonna say it was easy for me to move on, but I know I had to move on.
Right.
You know, but I actually got healthy after I had the surgery. I actually got healthy and started back training again, and I was gonna make a comeback to the NFL. And that's when I found out that I had a broken bone in my neck.
Mm.
Right. So that was hurtful. You
Hmm.
trying to get back and knowing like, man, you could have something could have happened to you seriously, and you didn't even know you had a broken bone in your neck. So that's what really hurt the most.
And do you feel like it hurt the most because you felt like the individuals that should have been essentially watching you and double checking things that they weren't?
I mean, I feel like after every season, before the next season, you go through a physical. So come on, man. If I'm taking a physical every year, so
Mhm.
you should know this. Like you should be able to catch this issue. So, once again, like even with my foot, I wasn't really taken care of, like, but
Mhm.
nothing I could do.
Well, I feel like, not to sound corny, but, God works in mysterious ways. Maybe, your injury of your, knee leg was a sign to say, hey, double check what's going on your neck, you think?
Yeah, it definitely was because like on my comeback, that's how they discovered it when I took a physical.
Hmm.
So it was a blessing in disguise, to be honest.
I feel that. I feel that. So, your career before we get into um, post, well, I mean, obviously you still have a career, but you know what I mean? Post athletic career. So
But
first question, and I'm doing this for my parents. What is it like to run down the Clemson Hill?
oh my God, like I said, as a kid, I envisioned myself doing that as a kid. Like,
Oh, it's amazing.
but see, a lot of people don't know. You got to be careful running down the hill because, like, a lot of people think you're just going straight down, but like in the middle of the hill, it's like a hump.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah, so don't think you're just gonna sprint down the hill. You're gonna be on your face. So like you gotta pace yourself and know that it's a hump in the middle of the hill, running down the hill. So it's like a serious hump. So you gotta know it. But once you do it a couple times, you become a pro at it.
Does anyone do they give you kind of a heads up of, hey guys, this it's not a straight down, there's a hump, be careful?
Like when you go on a visit, like they take you to they'll take you to the hill and let you experience it then. And I mean, as a freshman, it's like the older guys be like, okay, watch the hump. So it's kind of like, you know what I'm saying? It's
Yeah,
like you're warned, pre-warned before
that's good.
actually take place or whatever. So there's a lot of talk about the hump. So
That is too funny. It sounds like a water slide.
worse than a water slide.
Well, I mean, this could go into your college career, but I guess I was thinking of NFL. Was there anyone that you went to go play against that you were like, holy shit, I'm playing against blank? You know what I mean? That you can share?
Deion Sanders, like wow, like Deion Sanders. I wanted to meet Barry Sanders, but he had retired, so I never got a chance to meet Deion Sanders. But other than that, it was basically Deion Sanders. Everybody else like, all right, it's the pros, it's the pros. So, but Deion Sanders, like, wow, like, yeah, and
He's
actually, like, he came up and like, yo, you a dog, man. Keep
oh,
grinding. Like, you can play this game. So for Deion Sanders to come up to me and say that, it was like, okay, I'm meant to be here.
wow, that's very cool. Because I think he is the coolest.
Man, he's a different guy. He's a sweet.
That is so cool. Did you like so basically, I mean, not to get like I love to say corny, but not to get corny. So it's like when you have this individual that you like look up to, like come and say that to you, is that an out of body experience? Is that emotional?
Well, it's not an out of body experience, but I had an out of body experience. It was just like, wow, Deion, like, he gave me a compliment for like the best player in the NFL to tell you a dog. Like it was eye opening. Like, okay, you can play this game. It was more like for me to figure out my potential in anything. Like to know I had potential.
No, I understand. Well, well, since you just dropped that you did have an out of body experience, can you share what that was?
Oh man. Okay. So I told you I had a neck issue.
Mm-hmm.
In 2017, I was in a car accident.
Mm-hmm.
So I was paralyzed from the neck down for 2 years. So when I wrecked, I laid on side of the road for like 2 hours, like an hour and a half. And so it's like my
Because no one saw you?
it was like they saw me. The police were like people saw me, but they was called and said it was wrecked, but they didn't have time to stop because they had to get to work or whatever. And crazy part about it, you know who Terry Glenn is, right? Me and him wrecked on the same day, but God bless, he passed away and everything. But so here I am laying in the car, and I didn't think I was paralyzed. All I could do was shrug my shoulders. So my spirit left my body. I'm standing outside the car, looking at myself,
Oh my
and
God.
God is beside me. You know, you can't see God physically, but the
You can feel it.
spirit. So I'm like, "Hey, God, like, you gonna let me die like this? This how you gonna let me die?" And so now, that's an out of body experience.
And again, I usually ask kind of the unexplained towards the end of the interview. I've heard a lot of things. I'm speechless.
Yeah, I was paralyzed for years, man, and they told me I never walk again, and I was in a power wheelchair. Uh, I got off the power wheelchair, worked myself up to the regular wheelchair, and probably the wreck happened in 2017. So I was probably paralyzed from like 2017 up to 2020, 2019. I started to get a feeling, and damn, I just kept going and stayed focused and committed to my rehab. And of course, God, he brought me through it. So that's the best thing that would happen to me in my life, to be honest.
That's amazing. That's
And
amazing.
but what it goes back to, like, it was crazy because I knew I had to have neck surgery, and I kept putting it off. I kept putting it off.
Mm.
So I always ask myself and always think about, okay, if you think you would have had the surgery, do you think you would have been paralyzed? So always, go take a step back and be like, okay, do you think football caused this? No, because you never know.
Oh my goodness. So rewind a little bit. So you're seeing yourself out of body in the car. You feel God beside you. You're like, you're really gonna let me go like this. And then what is your next memory?
That's it. Like, that's all I remember, to be honest. Like, that stuck. That stuck with me to this day. And like I said, I laid there and I just heard cars passing, and I was just like, somebody please stop. I just kept saying, somebody please stop. Somebody please stop. And then, like, okay, yeah, I do have experience. Like, actually, when the state trooper pulls up, he's like, I'm giving you a ticket for crossing the lane. I'm like, man, I'm laying here about dead. He talking about you about to give me a ticket? And he gave me a ticket.
Shut
Like, I
up.
promise you, like, my mom's came my mom's came to the hospital. She had the ticket in her hand. I was going to court like a year and a half. Well, I never could go because I was paralyzed. I was on the court calendar like a year and a half to 2 years before they dropped the case. But here I am laying here dead, about half dead, blood everywhere, can't move. And his first words, I'm about to give you a ticket for crossing the center lane. It was crazy.
I'll tell you, Tony, I not very few times am I speechless. I am so did he end up calling the ambulance as well?
Um,
I guess I'm curious as who got you to the hospital.
okay, well, what happened was a guy that worked for the city. He was the one that stopped and helped me out of everybody. He stopped and helped me. So he called 911. He stayed there with me. He called 911. It was just like when the police got there, they was probably second on scene. That's what he said. He's giving me a ticket, but they wasn't the first on the scene.
Even weirder.
Yeah,
Even weirder. Well, like I said, God bless you. What a story.
God has been good to the kid.
So do you feel like you are, you know, now post being able to walk and physical therapy, are you just like you were before the accident?
No, not at all.
Hmm.
Like, I'm still trying to run. I can't run. Like, I can't run. I can't run yet. I can barely throw a football, probably like 10 yards. So it's like, nah, I'm nowhere near. Like, when people see me, they were like, you was paralyzed. Like, you can't tell I was paralyzed, but mentally and like the strength of my body and like, I still go through a lot of pain. Like, nerve pain, stiffness, and stuff like that. So, nah, I'm nowhere near, being independent as I once was or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So it's still work in progress. Progress, to be honest, man. Like that's my ultimate goal to be able to run again. Like, got to run again. Like,
I feel you. I feel you. Oh, I believe you will.
oh, once that,
I believe you will. Just maybe, show yourself some grace as far as how far you've come.
yeah, I do. Like, it took me a while to get there,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't know. I'm like, it's like I'm hard on myself. I can say that I'm hard on myself, and I'm like a perfection. And I don't care what I'm doing. I don't care if I'm picking up paper. Like, I want to be the best at picking up paper. Like, I got to be the best. I try my best to be the best or whatever. So it's like, you know what I'm saying? So
No, I feel you.
I have like came to the point where I'm proud of myself. You know what I'm saying? Because they told me I never walk again.
Mm-hmm.
Like, a lot of people gave up on me, even when I was in therapy. Like, you can see the therapist giving up on you. So it's like you notice like a lot of people give up on you. So you have to be there for yourself. So mm-hmm.
My goodness. Well, like I said, I mean, what what a story. What a
Right.
story. Prior
So
to this, horrific car accident that, you know, made you paralyzed, what was that from the NFL career, essentially pushing you into retirement? And before the accident, what was that time frame like? Because, I study a lot of interviews of all different types of people, but specifically athletes. I know that it's so hard because, regardless, you before football you were playing something, you were always athletic and part of your life. So when that ends, what is that like?
like you're always around guys. Like, you're always in the locker room. So that's the part you really miss. Like, once once the locker room is done, it's done. So you really miss being part of the guys. Like, some of those guys like your friends. So that's the part for me that was hard. Not being in the locker room, not being around genuine, real people, not being around someone that they want nothing from you. So for me, that was my biggest thing. Like, trying to find something to play football. It was
No,
hard,
I feel
and
you.
I mean, I still go to it today. Like, you always miss the locker room.
That's interesting. Just because, I mean, I get it because it's like they are essentially experiencing the same thing you are. Is that correct?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure because I mean, I've been in the locker room since I was in the seventh grade. So I mean, from the seventh grade until I'm in my 20s, and some guys like Tom Brady, he's been in the locker room his whole entire life. So I can imagine, what made him want to come back to the game. But it's different. No matter, like, your body may be ready or you may be ready, but it's different. It's a different life. When you used to being around all the fellas, you miss that. Like, I don't care what anybody, if somebody ever tell you that they don't, they lying. Like, they playing, they full of baloney, because you always miss the locker room, man. Like, that's the best thing about life, the locker room.
That's amazing. I love that. I love that. I guess one of my last questions, and again, not that your story didn't outdo this, but I am fascinated by spirits and ghosts. And so I'm wondering from that accident, or maybe even prior to that accident, um, have you ever seen a ghost or a spirit or felt something that you can share?
Most definitely, I believe in ghosts. Like, coming up, like, I mean, it's always around ghosts. Like, seriously, like, at my grandmother's house in the country, like we believed in ghosts. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, we talked about it. We knew they was around. You could hear things moving. Even like now, I still think I hear ghosts or whatever. So I do believe in the unnatural, or the other side of life that a lot of people never experience. So yeah, I'm like, I believe in ghosts. Am I scared? Yes. Yes. But um I have been among ghosts.
Any like standout stories of like actually like seeing one or no?
I'm more felt one, but my oldest daughter, I think she had like two friends named Tookie and Bill Bill. And so I think it passed down from me to her. And she was always talking to her. It was crazy growing up because they would have her do stuff. I'm like, what made you do that? She's like, Toopy made me do that. Bill Bill made me do that. So it was like always been connected with like
Right.
horror stories or spirits or ghosts or whatever. So, it's normal. I'm not gonna say it's normal, but like I said, I'm used to it.
That's kind of I find that fascinating and amazing. So very 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 cool. Just because I just believe I don't know. I mean, not to say that I've seen a bunch, but I just took kind of like you where I totally believe that they happen and I know a portion of the country doesn't, but
I mean, real like a ghost is a spirit. So I mean, spirits are real. Like it's like different auras, different vibes, atmosphere. So whether you don't want to believe it or not, like that spirit or that atmosphere or that vibe is different. That's a ghost.
no, I totally agree. Okay, last question before I let you give a shout out and explain your radio show and social media. Do you think the NFL that we see today is the same that you experienced? Is it the same game?
Most definitely not. I mean, it's bigger money. Uh, they're now picking up on more injuries and more concussions. And I think the guys are like they more prima donna. Like they feel like they're entitled. You know, I don't feel like it's different because like when I was playing, like man, you had like training camp, like playing on the coast of the mill. You worked, and they not cut back on like you can only be on the field this many hours. You can only be on the field that many hours. So yeah, it's definitely a totally different game or whatever. I mean, the athletes are probably some are probably faster and bigger, but I mean, I don't think it's as rough as it was, when I was there.
I hear that. I hear that. Okay, so tell everybody about your radio show and where they can find it.
All right, I'm on. I got a radio show. It's called Our Power, hosted by uh, Tony Horne, myself, like OUR, like Our Power. And you can find me at iHeartRadio, WDBR Media, and every Sundays at 7 p.m. Every Sunday at 7 p.m. Catch me on Facebook as Tony Horne, or catch me on Facebook at Our Power, and same as Instagram and TikTok, Our Power, hosted by me, Tony Horne.
Very cool. Well, Tony Horne, that's it. What do you think? What'd you think?
Man, like you guys to have me back on the show.
Yes. Well, like I said, I appreciate you, agreeing to talk with me. You didn't know maybe where I was going to go, but I have enjoyed having you. And like I said, thank you so much for sharing all your experiences and like, God bless everything that you've been through.
Thank you, and thank you for being like different, other than just talking about sports. I mean, the ghost part killed. I mean, that was like fascinating. That was different. Like, so I think being authentic. You know what I'm saying? Like discussing the unexpectable. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, keep it going.
Well,